of the MPO to order. For the record, to show that we do have a quorum present. We have one member joining us online. The first order of business, is there anybody here for public comments? Hearing none, I call that portion of the meeting closed. The next is Executive Director's Report. I will tell you that I did receive comments back from y'all. I want to thank you all for sending that review back in. And I'll leave the option up to you if you want to go into executive session, but I will tell you that the report showed all good marks. No bad comments came in. There's no criticism. It was negative whatsoever. So everybody was okay with the director, the job he's doing, and actually said that his communication skills was great, that he could work with the community, and he had a good working relationship with the state and the state MPO. So it would be up to you all if you think we need to go into executive session to discuss any matters that maybe someone want to talk about. If not, I would offer to you that is my report of the executive director's review. Do I have a motion to accept that?
Oh, so moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the executive director's review. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. Bill, I appreciate all your help in the past year, helping us with the assigning the grant to the Department of Highways and helping to clear a lot of the bureaucratic roadblocks in that. And I look forward to your continued support to that, getting that project finally signed off on and moving forward in the future.
Thank you. And it's been a good process, and I hope we can keep it moved forward with the new administration. So thank you very much, Commissioner.
Any other comments?
Nice job.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? No. Motion carried.
Thank you.
He said
Next
aye.
item.
He said aye.
Yes.
We have three on.
Oh, there's two there, Jenny now.
Yeah. And Ron Justice is also.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sit now.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, so we have Steve, Ron, and Jenny on. Next item of business is the election of officers, and I will turn that over to the executive director under the bylaws. That is his to direct.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I do want to thank you for your service as chairman this year. It's always been good working with you, and this year was not an exception, so I really appreciate the support and the direction that you've given me. The nominating committee has reported previously to the policy board, nominated Russ Rogerson for the chairmanship.
Maria,
Well, we do the chairmanship and then
you want to
the,
do them individually?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you was going to, just for,
Well, and also Ms. Smith as the vice chairman, and Mayor Lewis to continue on as treasurer. It really is at the pleasure of the board, but technically it can be run, the election of the other officers by the incoming chair.
right, but I wanted to just suggest open it up if there's anybody else that,
Right, that's where I was.
is that where you're heading? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are there any other nominations for the chairmanship of the policy board?
I move to accept by acclamation.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to accept the slate by acclamation. Is that correct, sir? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none opposed, we will report that the policy board unanimously selected Chairman Rogerson and Vice Chairman Smith and Mayor Lewis as treasurer.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And I would say that we'll have a 30-second recess here, so I and the chairman can trade positions here.
Good selections, everybody.
I don't know if you heard, she said good selections, everybody. Okay.
Yes. And I do want to thank the selection committee, Commissioner Bloom, Mr. Rogerson, and Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
See, I get set by the Honorable Tom Bloom.
Well, it's the western end. We got power this time, all three of us. So.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and look forward to serving the group this year. And we've got a lot of good things to come, right?
I think we're going to have an exciting year.
Yeah, it's good. It's a year of change. So I look forward to good change.
Yes.
All right. Well, to keep the meeting going,
Yes, sir.
next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. I think they're in the packet, so it went out to everyone. So do I have a motion for?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next, we have committee reports.
First committee report is Citizens Advisory Committee, and Christian Biltso, the chairman of the Citizens Advisory Committee, is here to give his report.
Hello and good evening. We had a quorum at our most recent meeting. Got through things pretty quickly. Recommended approval, as you'll see, I think, in your agenda, the actions that we took. Recommended approval of the TIP adoption and amendments. Don't know if we had a recommendation on the budget review, right? I mean, we went through the UPWP, but we approved that and went through that. Recommended approval with some reservations. I think you see it in your agenda. Some reservations about the safety performance measures. We noted that, there's been improvements in a lot of the measures, and I don't know if you want me to go over details now, Mr. Ostner, if you want to. Okay, so the only hesitation we had was in the non-motorized fatal and serious injuries goal. We weren't, essentially we weren't meeting the goal that was set, and and hopefully, in the past few years, we've committed a lot to pedestrian bike studies and safety activities, and we hope that will continue. Just concern from the committee members that the goal was essentially worsened, or we raised the target of allowable injuries and fatalities on the goal. We just hope that does not reduce the amount of resources that continue to go toward reducing non-motorized fatal and serious injuries. There was some discussion on that, so just want to put that out there as you go through it in your agenda. And just make sure that resources are still going to reduce non-motorized fatal and serious injuries. Mr. Austin, did I forget anything?
I believe that was everything that we discussed at the meeting.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Good to go. Thank you.
We can accept each time, right?
I think that's just but the treasurer's
Yeah, the next is the treasurer report, and Mayor Lewis couldn't be with us this evening. So we provided a report that was sent to the board. Any need to go through that?
I can go through it the way the mayor does, or it was provided to you in writing at the pleasure. The beginning balance at November of 2024 was $37,011.80, with two deposits totaling $36,101.72. There were 24 disbursements totaling $52,283.97, leaving an ending balance in November of $20,829.55. There was that balance was the beginning balance in December of 2024. There were two deposits of $35,963.60 and 19 disbursements $27,597.96, with an ending balance of $29,195. And there is a correction. I had not received the reconciliation report from the bank until today. I had given Jackie a 20-cent raise, so I had to correct that. The actual correct balance is $29,195.39 instead of 19 cents as shown on Mayor Lewis's report. I will also note that in Mayor's Lewis's opening comment in the report that we did miss the entry of a check in October in the amount of $320 and no cents to the West Virginia State Auditor's Office. Previously, we caught that with the reconciliation, and so that's the difference in the balance that was presented to this body at the last meeting versus what was presented tonight.
Move that we approve the financial report as presented.
Second. All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign?
Okay.
Passed. So now the executive director's report.
Executive Director's report. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate the positive review, and I look forward to working with everybody this year. I think we've got an exciting work program coming up, and I look forward to discussing some of these items later on in the agenda. As far as ongoing activities that have happened or will be happening coming up, I went to the final preliminary design meeting for the Smithtown Road project. That design is moving forward and should be probably completed sometime the middle of this year, and then we will be looking at construction in the next year or two. So that project's moving forward. The PED Bridge feasibility study got kicked off, is underway. The ongoing downtown microsimulation study, the consultants have made a great deal of progress on that, and we did originally have a meeting scheduled for the 14th on that, but making sure we had good information for the steering committee, we moved the meeting to the 28th. There was some additional analysis that needed to be done. We have, and I believe the policy board is familiar with a lot of these items, but projects we expect to get underway this year. The Green Bag Road project should be ongoing sometime this summer. The actual construction, right now they're working on, they've acquired a lot of the right-of-way, and we got a report from Jason Nelson at the Policy Advisory Committee / Chamber Transportation Committee meeting about that. The University Avenue Collins Ferry Roundabout is also scheduled to begin most likely in March. And the the Van Voorhees Road and the West Run Road projects will also get underway this summer. The Van Voorhees project is actually already underway with utility relocations having occurred, and they're doing some more work on that. And one other note, the AMPO Board of Directors will have a retreat in Denver in June, the end of June, and I wanted to let the policy board know about that I was planning to go to that meeting. And that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fantastic. Thanks, Bill. There's no acceptance of that, correct?
No acceptance of that.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have the 2025 TIP adoption and amendments.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have available to you a full copy of the draft TIP, which was actually advertised in accordance with the MPO's public involvement policy in October. It is essentially the same document that you all have been looking at all along. None of the projects per se have changed, except obviously we did a TIP amendment in November, and I will discuss that in a minute. We actually need approval of amending this TIP to include those, because they were not, while they were included in the current TIP, which we are replacing, they were not included in the document that was advertised. So we redid the analysis of the area's population and the other requirements to meet the requirements for an updated TIP based on the October version that was released for public comment. We did not really receive any substantive comments on the draft TIP. And the committees have reviewed the draft TIP and recommended approval unanimously, the TTAC and the CAC. So what we need to do is adopt this document, which is the document you all are familiar with. It's just got a lot more analysis to it, and it's up to date in regard to federal requirements. And then what we would appreciate is a motion to amend the document to include the TIP amendments that the policy board approved at the November meeting. Just, but those TIP amendments have been duly advertised under the public involvement policy. They just need to be married to this document. So it sounds strange to adopt a document and then amend it, but that's the most straightforward process.
Could we not put it on the floor and then amend it when it's on the floor? If the motion's adopted,
We could do that.
yeah, and then that might be easier.
But it's up to,
Yeah.
that's fine.
All right, so we need to have a motion to approve.
Move that we approve the TIP.
No second.
Been moved and seconded.
I move to amend the motion to add the 2 new projects that we added in November. Do I have to state them as the I-79 exit ramps and the Caperton Trail lighting?
Now, we need a second.
I need a second
We
for
need a
that.
second on that?
Second.
Yeah.
And second, do we vote on the this
Amendment.
motion first, right?
You have to vote on
The amendment,
first.
vote on the amendment
The
first.
amendment, that's what I mean.
first.
The
Oh,
amendment.
yeah,
Yeah,
You have to approve the amendment of the motion, and then you vote on the full motion.
correct.
right, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
So, that being said, it's been moved and seconded to amend the original motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that being passed, now I'll ask for a first on the approval of the Transportation Improvement Program.
We just have yeah.
No, we already have the motion. That-
Yeah, it'd be just
that was the motion
discussion
that was
now.
amended, So now you.
So now I'll ask for a vote.
Yeah.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
That was easier.
All right, you have an amended,
Right.
no longer draft TIP.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and we won't have to go through this full process again for the TIP for at least 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good thing.
So future amendments could come.
Oh, well, yes, the state amends the
You
TIP.
don't have to approve the whole
Yeah,
document.
we don't have to re-advertise and go through the 45-day comment period and so forth.
And those amendments will be reflected in the document.
That's correct.
All right. We just didn't do it this time because it was already advertised.
Right.
Gotcha. All right.
And they will come.
Want to make sure we're doing things correctly, right?
Yes.
All right. So moving on, we have safety performance measures. Bill?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an exercise we go through every year, and it's a good exercise because it allows us to track incidents within the statewide level, and also we will be getting an updated crash report from MPO staff probably at the next meeting in March, where we've gone through the last 5 years of crash data. So we'll have more focused data on our area coming up at the March meeting. But there's a federal requirement to meet the U.S. DOT's zero fatalities policy. And the idea is to set goals where you're consistently reducing the number of fatalities, accidents, serious injuries, and so forth resulting from transportation projects. And we're required to review the state's policies on those targets each year and show support. So the new targets are shown on page 2 of the 3-page memorandum that staff has provided you. Vehicle fatalities were 8.9 for 2022, 8.8 for 2023, and they are that's the new goal. They had been 9.4% in the previous goals. The vehicular fatality rate, 1.116 in 2022 and 1.06 in 2023, with the goal of 0.952, I'm sorry,
1.060.
1.060 for 2023. So, and then serious vehicular injuries, 34.9 for 2022 and 2023 for those target years. The serious vehicle injury rate, 3.975 for 2022 and 4.075, and this is one of the concerns that's come about for 2023. That rate has gone up a little bit. And also bicycle and pedestrian fatalities, 4.3 and 4.6. The previous goal had been 3.9. So there is some concern that the state has modified their goals upward a little bit. They're still reducing the overall rate on those categories compared to where they started out. The TTAC and the Citizens Advisory Committee both recommended, with expressing the concerns that you heard from Mr. Bilso for adoption of these goals for the state. I will say that the state's highway safety program has been more active than I've seen it for the last 2 years than I've seen it in the previous 12 years I've been here. And I believe they're making a good effort on this process, and they've devoted a lot more resources to it than I can remember in the past. So I do recommend that the policy board approve these goals, and we will work to get them lower. I am sitting on both the pedestrian safety and the intersection safety subcommittees for the state's program on these items.
Okay, do we have a motion for acceptance?
Move to accept.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second to approve the statewide safety performance targets. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. I guess we'll just keep our eye on how that impacts the concerns of the...
Could you put, like, when we approve it, just put like an asterisk, voice, just say, we're very, just concern them to monitor that. Then I think that keeps it in the eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do that with the transmittal letter with the
Okay.
resolution.
Yeah.
Then that solves that problem.
I'm curious, what would happen if we
I
had
have a
not
question
accepted
regarding
this?
this.
Okay. Wait, go ahead.
Is there something separate or different that we could do that would support reducing fatalities that would be different than, we've supported the party line, we've adopted the minimum. Is there something else that we could do that would target certain, and this could be something that we talk about over a meeting or two, or that you come back with a proposal, but something that we could do that fits our area that would be maybe
Yeah.
different than these targets, but would be a promotion of safety,
Well,
fatalities?
Counselor, we can monitor their activities as far as performance measures. One of the things that we are charged with doing with the Transportation Improvement Program is making sure that we are targeting these goals with the spending that we're having them acquire. The only real stick or that we have is if we did not approve them, then it would be a problem for the state. But also, and I'll let Mr. Carr speak to that, but also the Federal Highway Administration is monitoring this, and if the state is not compliant, then what they can do is require the state to spend a portion of their funds on these projects. That's how the legislation's written, if the state's not making adequate progress on them. And I'm sorry, Councilor Kawecki, you had a question?
So the
pretty-
suggestion that we monitor is good.
Yes.
What
They do
Tom was
monitor.
suggesting that we monitor is
Right.
good.
Right.
It just is something that bears paying attention to. I guess that's it for now.
I think you pretty much answered the question. My feeling here is that I voted for this because we had the recommendation given to us that that was an appropriate activity. I am concerned, though, as to having it presented, are we just simply to comply as opposed to represent our dissatisfaction that things are moving in a direction that we'd hoped they wouldn't?
I think we can make stronger statements if we wish to. I'll be happy to, as I said, reflect it in the letters we transmitted and also as I sit on these committees.
I'm not looking to provoke bad relations with new administration.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I am curious as to know, even if you don't achieve it, why you let down what you consider to be an appropriate goal.
Yeah.
I think we should be striving for that, not moving back.
I agree. It's a hard spot to be put in. Mr. Carr, did you have any comments you'd like to add?
I mean, with respect to all the safety performance of this just non-motorized, it's a culmination of all of these. Mm-hmm. And believe you me, if we were not meeting goals or making significant progress, that's another caveat, that the wording in there is making significant progress on at least 4 out of these 5 every year. And if you kind of paid attention to all the years leading up to now, you probably have seen where every year it seems like one of them is not being met for whatever reason. And these are statewide goals. This isn't a localized issue. I know in recent years our traffic engineering staff has also been able to provide the MPOs their relative information. It's essentially the same thing, except it's just literally, focused on your all's MPO area. And, that I think is what you want to be more focused on when it comes to that, because an incident that might happen in Boone County affects that rate that you guys are seeing here. And again, if we weren't making significant progress in meeting these goals, FHWA would be slapping our hands and making us spend more money on vulnerable road user, highway safety, the governor's highway safety improvement program, all those types of things. They would be forcing us to utilize more of our resources on those types of things. But here's the one thing that I've never really liked about all of this is, all it takes is one unfortunate incident, like, I don't like bringing it up, but like what happened in New Orleans just a few days ago, where a number of pedestrians, if one of those incidents happens here in West Virginia, guess what's going to happen to all of those rates? They're going to skyrocket. It's not because of something that we did or didn't do. So, every incident out there, whether it's a drunk driver hitting a pedestrian or somebody stumbling out of, a bar somewhere and getting hit, they all get calculated into this. And FHWA pays attention to it. We continue to work and meet the goals, but, that's just kind of where we are. I mean, again, all the MPOs do have the option to work and develop their own goals. It doesn't necessarily change how the resources get, divvied out, because again, from an FHWA level, it's the state ones that matter. As long as we're meeting those goals on a state level, then, it's accepted by FHWA. So that's kind of
if I may, to that point, I mean, you look at the projects that we have announced that are going to be under construction. There is a safety component in all of those. The micro simulation study is all about a good focus on pedestrian and bikeway safety. So maybe our efforts should be focused more on, let's push our projects as hard as we can to get completed so that we improve the safety here, which will have impact across the state.
I will also point out that the actual methodology for determining the goals is basically a straight line regression. It's simply a mathematical construct as opposed to an actual, taking a look at accident rates and say, what does it take us to get to zero between now and 2050, which is the goal. So it's more a concept than an actual reality-based goal. Now, you have to set goals somehow, and that's as good a way to do it as any, but I would just kind of add that caveat that it's not completely grounded on actual events or, we'll spend X number of dollars and we know we'll get X number of results. So.
And it's been recommended for us to just make sure we put that note in there and not lose sight of that as an important goal. So,
and the transmittal letter will carry some strong language on that.
excellent. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, we're just supporting the state goals, which sounds great.
That's correct.
All right, moving on. We have a draft budget review for 2025.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is not an action item. This is an informational item. I have provided you with a draft of the UPWP, which will be brought forward to the Policy Board for adoption at the March meeting. You'll notice several things. The draft budget proposes a 3% cost of living increase for MPO staff. It also, there is a decrease in the proposed contribution to the 457B for the MPO staff's retirement. That decrease reflects the reduced requirement for contributions to the state retirement system. The state retirement system's, so we're matching the state retirement system's recommendation there. The other items I'd bring to your attention, the two primary large items we have will be the completion of our Metropolitan Transportation Plan update. We are looking at doing a small in-house transportation plan update utilizing changes that come about from the downtown microsimulation study to update our regional travel demand model. Staff will be performing corridor analysis on Brookhaven Road and also taking a look at the area around Valley View Avenue and some issues there that we've had the reports, both of the pedestrian safety, which the state is working on with the Chestnut Ridge project, as well as other concerns that we've heard about congestion from residents in that area. So those will be two of the focuses for the new transportation plan update. And of course, we welcome the policy board and any citizens' input into other items who would like us to study as we do the transportation plan update. The other item that I've budgeted for, and I think our contributing communities, Monongalia County and the city of Morgantown would appreciate this, is that we are looking at the proposed green belt that the Green Space Committee has looked at as a complete streets project. It includes both on-road and off-road projects. I forgot to bring that map, though. I think most of our policy board members are familiar with that. We're proposing to fund that at 100% federal funds. That is a new policy the Federal Highway Administration has, that complete streets planning can be 100% federally funded. We're proposing $150,000 of that. Now, those are funds that the MPO could be utilizing for other purposes, but we would be required to provide a match for that. So it would still stay within the budget and not impact our match at all. The study itself will focus on what on-street improvements would need to be made for the portions of the corridor that proposed to be part of the green belt to make them complete streets. And that's why we're using complete streets funding for that. It would also be to identify locations for potential off-road corridors that to connect to the street network. The actual off-road corridors would need to have an additional study done. What we hope to do with this study is both take a look at the on-street improvements that are necessary, as well as or to bring them into compliance to be part of the green belt. And also bring together a coalition of interested groups on the steering committee to gauge their interest in the project and have assist in their understanding of what the project is. So it's a combination of, we would be developing planning level cost estimates, that sort of thing for the on-street improvements. And many of these thoroughfares on the proposed green belt are thoroughfares that we've identified as having pedestrian and non-motorized users of facilities on in the past. Those are the two major initiatives that are currently proposed in the draft Unified Planning Work Program. As I mentioned, this is not an action item. This is the board's first look at this proposed budget. My door is open if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or complaints, or any additions you would like to include in the Unified Planning Work Program. I would love to hear them. We're always happy to work with everybody on this. So this is not an action item.
Excellent. Do a little bit of homework and give you a call. All right. All right, moving on. Last item is other business. Do we have any other business to introduce, to entertain tonight?
I actually have something good to report. I just got off the phone a couple hours ago. The county commission allowed me to contact Mr. Gaskins about exit 152, cleaning it, and the roundabout that's over it. And since we haven't had much snow, there's never been a problem. But since we got so much snow, there's been some confusion of who was supposed to do what on the cleaning up. And he assured me today that the DOH is going to now take that position and clear the bridge and the roundabout, and just clarify that, because as you go on the West Ridge, there was some real confusion of what the developer was supposed to do and not. And I just want to thank him clearly, because there was a lot of questions about clearing that up, and he's also going to start solving it, which had
Hell, we've been doing it, just so you know.
the one lane, the roundabout.
I'm talking that, yeah.
Okay,
That's who's been clearing it. And
Yeah,
we
they
have
were
solved
supposed
it.
to
Well,
be
yeah,
doing-
they're supposed to do a lot of stuff.
I know.
I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's why they are going to supposedly take it away from you, so you don't have to deal with it. And
That
that's,
was me.
yeah, I thought it's one less thing, but we wanted something in writing so you all know that.
Should wait for it.
Yeah, no big deal.
I have a question.
Yes, Jenny?
Along Patterson Drive, which is a state route, the university does a really nice job of cleaning the sidewalk on their side. My understanding is it's the university doing that. I think I've seen them doing it before. On the other side, I guess you'd call it the city side of Patterson Avenue, like if you start at the Coliseum and come down. That sidewalk, not so much, and it's a heavily used sidewalk. And I didn't know if sort of the city rules that the sidewalk is the property owner's responsibility was in play along state routes, or if there was some other provision for sidewalks along state routes.
I'm sorry, would you clarify? I didn't hear very well. Is that Patterson Drive from the Coliseum down to
Yes.
Burrs?
Yes. So in front of, I guess it would be in front of university and park property. It would be in front of some churches' property. It would be in front of some property owners, business owners' property, some private property. I didn't know along state routes if there was any provision for sidewalks.
My recollection was that there was an agreement in place with Star City that they were actually supposed to work on those, but I think Mr. Justice and I worked on that. He may have a better recollection than I do.
That wouldn't be still.
She's talking about Patterson Drive.
No, he's talking about Patterson
Patterson
Drive.
That's not
Opposite
Star City.
WU
Oh, Patterson,
Creative
I'm
Arts
sorry.
Center.
I was
The
thinking.
other side of Creative Arts Center.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
hearing,
I can,
I think Ron.
yeah, Jenny's correct. I think we clear the CAC side of that
Right.
down all the way past the Erickson Alumni Center, and I'm not sure who, there's the other side on the Crescent Park side. Thanks what you were talking about, right?
No one. Yeah, I mean, university does a beautiful job. It makes a big difference, but there's a lot of people that are using the other side, and it's just all, it's people on it all the time and no clearing of it, so. Anyway, that's not gonna be solved tonight, but that type of thing, we need to have more clarity since we have more precipitation this year.
Well, Jenny, your question was jurisdiction. Do city rules apply to that? Sidewalk, or do state rules?
I don't know that there are state rules, and I do
Say that
believe,
again?
you know, our ordinance say that property owner is
We
responsible
would say the
for the
property
sidewalk.
owner, I just didn't know.
Right.
What if it's DOH right away?
Then it's DOH.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the sidewalks are DOH responsibility.
I don't know of any, I mean, there may be some localized areas, but I can speak for my own community in Fox Lanes, West Virginia. We got about 2.5 feet of snow sitting on top of our sidewalks, and it is the main thoroughfare for everybody that walks through Fox Lanes, and it's still completely snow covered. I'm not aware of any machines that the DOH has to clear sidewalks. There's just nowhere else to put the snow. I mean, that's just
Does the city clear High
the
Street
maintenance
sidewalks?
issues.
No. No, the property owners are responsible for the
Property
sidewalk.
owners get High Street sidewalks?
Yeah. each
Right, but
individual.
we frequently do the bridges.
Yes.
And, you know, there, again, that's, both bridges are, that you're talking about here, with the exception of, I guess, South Park Bridge, or South Side Bridge, are state highways, so,
Right. Well, and I saw Westover was out, cold shoveling the sidewalk going up the hill.
And somebody's got to do it.
The other day.
So-
So it sounds like that would be the city's or property owner's responsibility, I guess.
I will commend Westover because they do
We need
a
to
great
work
job
on
on the
that.
sidewalk.
I don't do anything, the guys do.
Just take the heat.
All right. Any other business you brought up this evening?
I do also want to congratulate the city of Morgantown on getting the Dorsey Avenue Grace Grant. I can't recall, what was that, $8 million?
yes.
So congratulations on that, and now the real work begins. So I'm sure our FHWA counterpart that essentially oversees all of these grants will be reaching out to whoever the point of contact is for that, setting up a kickoff meeting, and then it's basically explaining all the rules and regs and how the process will unfold here in the coming months. So
We look forward to it.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
All right. Any other business? No?
Move to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion. No second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.